But there does become a time in your life where you realize, okay, well, who am I? We can't live like that anymore. That serves nobody. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lolo. Now let's talk about what it means to become her, and not the version that impresses people, but the one that actually feels like you. It has nothing to do with gender identity or anything like that. I'm essentially just talking about becoming the version of yourself you've always dreamt yourself to be. Because I'm on this journey, what I've realized is that it's a much more involved process than I think a lot of people make it out to be. If you're truly trying to become the version of yourself you've always envisioned yourself to be, it takes multiple layers and steps to really figure out what that version of yourself looks like, and then how do you actually implement making that version of yourself a reality. So that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to break this all down, and I'm going to share with you how you could do it based on things that I've tried. Now, mind you, I am no expert at this. I have not studied a bunch of stuff. Like, this is genuinely just my experiences and how I figured out how to do so. And I'm sharing it with you in case it could provide some sort of support or inspiration on your journey, okay? So let's just start from the beginning. So when it comes to doing this really deep, uprooting exploration of self, what do we do and how do we implement it? Now, if you're like, Lolo, this sounds great, this sounds like exactly what I'm going through, or, oh, I haven't even thought about that, but this sounds interesting, tell me more, and you're like, okay, but I don't know where to start. Here's what helped me. Okay, first things first is I visualize who this version of myself that I've always wanted to become. Like, I've been visualizing this version of me for years. Do you ever catch yourself looking at other people, whether they're like in the store or on the internet or wherever you're at, and be like, damn, I want to dress like that? Or, oh, I like her energy. Something about her is really cute. Like, I want to feel like that. Or, I want to walk into a room and turn heads the way that person did. That's all part of your inner self telling you and giving you hints of the version that you want to become. So I started taking all of those moments and putting them all together and visualizing what that meant and what that looked like for me. And not about just aesthetics, but more so how it made me feel when I thought about what it would look like or how it must be showing up in the world as this version of myself. Does that make sense? Like, when I think about this version of myself, like, look, I can't even help but to smile. I'm so excited. Like, in what ways does this version of myself bring me joy? What does she wear? What does she smell like? How does she move? How does she talk? Where does she go? What is it? What's going to make me feel good? What is going to really feed this version of me? I thoroughly visualize that. And because I could feel what that means, I knew how to continue on to these next steps accurately based on how I felt, okay? So the next thing I had to do was decide what was my style as the best version of myself, right? Now, I always start with style because I'm a firm believer in the way you show up in the world is the greatest way of self-expression and representation of who you are and how you feel about yourself, right? So for me, it's always going to start with style. So when I visualizing and feeling this woman that I want to become, I started with, well, what does she wear? What are the clothes that she's really into? What is the colors, the patterns, the textures, the fabrics? What is her thing? And for me, the way that I was able to navigate what that looks like was something that actually Stephanie Thomas taught me as well, is if you look at a piece of clothing and it's not an immediate hell yes, oh, I love that, oh my gosh, I'm gagging, that ain't it, sis. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time trying to make it work when it ain't really working. You ain't really feeling it. You just start picking up things. Wow, that's resonating with me for some reason. So I had to decide what her style was. How is she showing up in the world? Is she sophisticated? Is she more tomboyish? Is she streetwear? Is she a mixture of both? Is she full-blown super super sex appeal? What is her vibe, right? And because I am aware of who I want to become from more of an emotional standpoint, everything that I've been able to shop for or look for myself when it comes to my style and wardrobe as I'm becoming her is rooted in how I feel about the piece that I'm getting. Follow me here. When you go into a store, and I want you to do this as an exercise, okay? So make sure you write this down and do this as well. I want you to go inside of a store and first pick a store where the best version of yourself would like to shop at, okay? I don't care whether or not you can afford it or whatever the case is. I want you to go to a store where your best version would shop at. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a store that you've either never visited, you've either always avoided, or if you've gone in, looked, and turned right back around and walked out because for whatever reason you may have felt intimidated or didn't think you deserved to be there. I want you to break that habit. I want you to go in that store and genuinely look around. Genuinely, rack by rack, section by section, and take your time, flip through the clothes, and really decide, what do I like? For me, one of my favorite places to shop is Zara. I feel like Zara is that great blend of giving you quality clothes at decent prices that is still very rooted in style and fashion. So for me, Zara is always the go-to spot. So I want you to go into that store and go rack by rack, piece by piece, and look at it. And if it's even a little bit like, oh, this is cute, I'm actually into this, grab it. I want you to grab the clothes that make you say, hell yeah, I'm obsessed. But do it from the place of the version that you want to become, okay? Because we're still stuck in our old habits of like, oh, this is cute. And then we go home and we put it together and like, well, this isn't the outfit that I was thinking in my head that I wanted to do. You want to break that habit. I want you to go in the store and pick the things that you absolutely love, that you're obsessed with, that you normally would never buy. That's the ticker right there. And if for whatever reason you can't afford it right now, take a picture of it so that way you can have it on your phone and you can add it to like a phone mood board or a mood board that you have hanging up in your room. However you do your mood boards or your vision boards, keep the picture because you're going to consistently see that piece until you have it in reality, okay? And this can also be applied to makeup or hair care or skincare, whatever it is. Whatever resonates with you that you are obsessed with, go to that place where you can get it and try it out. And if it continues to resonate with you, I suggest getting it. Remember, becoming a different version of yourself 9 times out of 10 is a version of yourself that is not comfortable, that you do not recognize. So therefore you wouldn't pick or choose the same things that you normally would. Of course, there's going to be times where things cross over that's like, I would always grab that because that's my style. That's what I'm into. But this next version of yourself, tap into that. Now, if you are someone that's like, I like the way that I dress. I feel like the way that I dress is me. It is the best version of myself. But I'm kind of struggling more so internally on how to show up as my best self. How do I treat myself as my best self beyond how I show up externally to the world? Well, that's where we lead into the next step. The next step of becoming the version of yourself that you've always wanted to be is starting to make routines and practices for yourself that you stay dedicated and committed to no matter what. Now, these are going to be routines and practices that you have either been inspired by, that you've seen other people do, or something you just been on your heart to do. Like for me, one of the things was I wanted to make sure I spent every morning in deep prayer for at least 10 minutes. That was my thing. I was at one point so focused on my career and work and content and all these different things that I wasn't really giving the dedicated space and time to God in the way that I really wanted to. So when I think about the best version of myself, I'm not playing about my relationship with God, okay? Now that's just me. It doesn't have to be something as spiritually rooted as that. It could be something like, you know what? I really want to make sure I read 10 pages a day of a romance novel because I'm in a space where my best version of myself is falling in love. You know what I mean? It could be, I want to just make sure I go outside and walk around the block or move around the block at least five times. Or I want to go outside for 30 minutes every morning and feel the fresh air on my skin and on my face. Whatever that is, just make sure it's something that is truly resonating with that best version of yourself and doing it with that version of you in mind. Because those little practices and routines of self-care towards the version that we become end up ultimately being the habit, and before we know it, we have become the best version of ourselves that we were always desiring to be. But the key to this is to stay committed as best as possible. I understand that things happen, schedules change, life be lifing. I get it. But if you can honestly say that you have dedicated and made sure that you stayed committed to this practice, to this routine, towards this version of yourself, then you're already making such a great progress in reframing who you are, how you feel about yourself, and moving in the direction of a goal that you're actually going to be able to achieve. Now, I say do this. Start with 1 week. Don't even be dramatic. Everyone's like, do it for 30 days. It takes 21 days to break a habit. Yeah, all of those things are true. But when you are somebody who is just learning to just dip your toe in the water, start with a week, see how it made you feel. Did it work? Was it helpful? Did it actually annoy you? Was it something that really brought you more joy? Were you excited after you did it? Did you feel better about yourself? Really take some reevaluation. And if any of those things wasn't a hell yeah, it made me feel good, hell yeah, that was exciting, oh my gosh, I feel so much better about myself, then try a different practice and keep trying different things until something really emotionally and physically resonates with you. Okay? So there's that. And the biggest one of them all, something that's going to take time and practice, but I promise you, and this is me speaking to myself, the more you take time and practice and are intentional with this last step, the closer and the full manifestation of who your best version will become you in no time. And the biggest thing is, what does the best version of yourself say yes to, and what and how does the best version of yourself say no? I know that was a stinger for me. When I realized that a lot of who I wanted to become was rooted in saying yes to what I genuinely wanted and no to the things I genuinely didn't want to do, game changer. Prime example. I was on set for a friend's project. He was doing a spec commercial, and in the commercial was this full-blown dance routine that all the models were doing. He came up to me and said, Lolo, do you want to be a part of the dance routine? Because we can reconfigure the choreography for you to join in. And I said, no, absolutely not. And he busted up laughing. He was like, oh, well, tell me how you really feel. And I was actually really shocked. Like, as soon as I said no, internally, I was really shocked and proud of myself at the same time that I said no, because that ain't me. That's not the best version of myself. The best version of myself loves to dance, but we don't want to do no choreography. That just ain't, Now, if I was able to do real choreography, maybe, because I do love to dance. Don't get it twisted, okay? Your girl can twerk a little bit, just a little bit, in this chair, and I enjoy every minute of it, okay? But that's not the best version of me. We kicking back, baby. We chilling on set. We just do us. You know what I mean? And so saying no to that was such a proud moment for me, because normally I'd be like, okay, well, yeah, I do want to be a part, and maybe this is something. No, I wasn't in the mood. I don't want to. Maybe next time I would have done it. But no, it just wasn't my thing. But another test to that actually happened that same day was what I said yes to. There was a moment where the top that I was wearing had this choker moment, and what my friend needed me to do was have my shoulders out to stay within the aesthetics of what he was shooting. And I was concerned at first because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to take that collar off and do an off the shoulder moment. But one of the girls there was like, oh girl, you can do that with this top. My immediate reaction was to be like, no. But I said, you know what, Lolo? Your best self does not say no out of fear. Your best self says no because you genuinely mean it. And I had to check myself very quickly in that moment, in knowing that I was saying no because I was afraid my shirt might rip, or it wasn't gonna work, or it was going to be a waste of time. So I was saying it out of fear. But I said, you know what? Don't say no to that. Say yeah. Just try it and see what happens. Baby, when I tell you that shirt took on a whole other look and feel, and I said, baby, I'm about to wear this shirt like this all the time now. This look, and honestly, the look of the top after I turned it into something else, like it was like this choker top, and when I put the choker behind me, it turned into this off the shoulder moment. I'll show you guys in this video. I said, oh my gosh, this off the shoulder moment is actually a top my best version of myself would wear. You see what I'm saying? So know what you're going to say yes to and know what and how to say no. And that's going to take more practice. I mean, I've already said yes to things where deep down I was like, oh, I didn't really want to do that. I shouldn't have done that. And I've said no to things that essentially I know I probably should have said yes to. But again, that all takes practice. But the whole point of doing all of this or any of this, instead of saying the best version of myself and your best version of yourself almost being like another person, it's about doing the steps and the things and trying the products, buying the things that you need to buy and do the practices that you need to practice. So that way that gap between who you are now and who you want to become becomes smaller and smaller and smaller until they finally, you understand what I'm saying? And then that way, once they merge, you have now become a newer and better and flyer version of yourself. You understand? All right, y'all. So that's just my tips on how to go about this journey. If you need any support or help through this, I have my glow guide. The link is available in the description below. It's a curated guide of all of the things and practices that I started doing that actually helped and worked for me. And you can use it as your jump start or your starting point on your journey as well. If there's anybody who has any tips on how to navigate this, go ahead and leave a comment. If you have any other questions on how to navigate this journey, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know how it's been going for you, okay? Because again, this is something that I'm currently doing as of right now myself, all right? But you know, there's just some things that I've learned along the way that I'm sharing. All right, y'all, I'm so excited for your journey. I can't wait to keep going with you. Until next time, bye.